She's sitting on her couch. Her newborn is resting on her chest. Her 3-year-old is right beside her. And she's calling her mom again to wish her happy birthday, to see what time she's going to come over to meet the baby for the first time. Still no answer. So she's calling and calling and calling. Finally, late that night, her stepdad answers, and he's like, she's not going to talk to you. And Tara asks why. And the stepdad just said, you know what you did. Click. And Tara's like, are you kidding me? All I asked for was 3 days to come home from the hospital and just be able to rest with my baby. And now this? So that was a year ago. And Tara is just puzzled by how much this still impacts her, because this isn't the first time her mom has ghosted her. So we have Tara. She has a newborn baby, a 3-year-old, and she has a long history with her mom. She was actually raised by her grandparents because her mom couldn't get her substance use and moods under control. And whenever Tara would fall out of line and not agree with her mom, like all the way, her mom would just stop talking to her for days, weeks, a long periods of time. So this isn't like a new thing at all. Even in adulthood, her mom just couldn't get balance under control or think about other people. Even with, Tara's first baby, she would show up at all hours of the night, wake up the family, like just not considering. And she would say like, oh, sorry. It just kind of almost seems like she's got a teenager operating an adult body, like really not thinking about anyone else but herself. So it's been a lot. But before she got pregnant with her second baby, they got really close. It turns out that Tara's mom started fostering a kid, so Tara was helping her, giving her, a lot of tips and stuff. So they got really close, and the mom actually asked, could I be in the delivery room when you have your second baby? Well, because the first baby was so traumatic, Tara was like, I think it should just be my husband and I, and if you just give us, the hospital and then 3 days to just acclimate and relax at home, then you can come over and I'm really going to need your help. Her mom was not happy about this, but she agreed, which I think is amazing. Everything went well with the delivery. They got home, and 2 days from being home, she just kind of felt stir crazy. And she decided, with it being Halloween, that she would be able to move around like slowly. So they took their kid out to go trick-or-treating with their cousins. But Tara and the newborn stayed away from everybody, didn't let anyone really meet the baby, see the baby, no germs. But she was just kind of moving slowly outside just to get some fresh air, because I actually don't know how she moved around like that. I was a mess 2 days after postpartum. But she was outside, slowly moving, when her phone rings. It's a FaceTime call from her mother. Now remember, Tara's taking this 3-day window to relax and just kind of like stop the stuff going on down there and just heal and get into a rhythm. Her mom has yet to meet this baby. She's FaceTiming. Tara's out in public, lots of noise, kids running around. it looks like she's just at a gathering. She answers the call, and of course, her mom got hurt. Her mom just like, oh my gosh. And she's like, this is, we're just letting her trick-or-treat on a few houses. I'm standing back or whatever. And she's like, okay, she's trying to get off the phone. It's like she's not even hearing Tara. And she's like, hey, Mom, like, you're meeting the newborn tomorrow. Like, are you still going to come over? It's your birthday. We can't wait. And her mom's like, yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Click. Well, the next day came, they made all the phone calls, and then they found out from the stepdad that, she's not going to be talking to you. She's so hurt. So Tara, again, told the stepdad, like, this is what happened. I was just stir crazy. I just wanted some fresh air. I wasn't meeting anybody. The baby wasn't being seen by anybody. I was just walking slowly behind the group just so I could get some fresh air and I could just witness her trick-or-treating. That's all that was happening. And the stepdad was just like, it was just deaf ears. Didn't matter. Well, since this has been a pattern and Tara just didn't want to chase anymore, like she's like, God, I have a 3-year-old, I got a newborn, I'm drowning in postpartum hormones. I don't want to keep chasing her. Like, I'm just going to not. So she didn't. And she just waited for her mom to come back to her. And that's been a year now. Like, her mom has not come back to her. And she's like, why does this hurt so bad? Like, my mom has done this to me so much my whole life. Why am I shocked? Why is this hurting me? And how do I move on past this? First of all, I am so sorry for what you have gone through as a kid. Like, all the ups and downs and trying to figure that out as a child, like with a child brain, and having like all the roller coaster of emotions, and then having your mom and then having her take herself away from you. And wow, like that's too much for any kid to take. So I'm really sorry that that happened to you. And just still trying to wade through all of her ups and downs and stuff as an adult. Like, it's a lot. And you're right, now that your life is expanding, it's harder to be the one to always bend and abandon yourself. That's kind of where I think you're getting. That's what it sounds like to me. And it's a very natural progression where it's like, I have just so much going on in my life right now. I can't hop through all these hoops to make our relationship work like I once did. So for me, if I were in your shoes, Tara, I see you wading into two things. I see you wading into some grief work, and I see you wading into like, how do I move on? And meaning without maybe an apology, because it doesn't seem like your mom will apologize for this like year-long stint. Like, let's say she does come back into your life. How do you just move on with boundaries, with knowing that you probably won't get an apology? Personally, I would do this work with a therapist. I just think it's done best. This is such a painful thing to go through. Every kid, no matter how much pain, especially when you've gone through a lot of pain with your parents, I should say, every kid has a part in them, like adult child has a part in them that wants their parent. They want that movie moment where the parent just all of a sudden like realizes, oh my gosh, this is what I've done to you. I'm so sorry. Like, this is what I'm going to do to make it up to you and make it better. And then that need that never got met is finally fulfilled. Like, we all have that, all of us. Even it's just like a spectrum. The more we're hurt as children, the bigger our gap, the bigger the need. So I just think it's really painful to actually do this work where we lift the veil of the fantasy and we really start looking at accepting our parents for who they are, setting boundaries to protect ourselves, really grieving what we deserved and didn't get because of lack of capacity. So going through all of that, and then having the therapist also walk you through, what does it look like to heal without an apology? Like, naming what happened, what you deserved from your mom but didn't get, so that's the grief part. Then really looking at your mom as who she is and accepting that, and then surrounding yourself with relationships that do support you going forward. Like, all of that just goes so much smoother, in my opinion, if you have the resources to partner up with a therapist. So that is what I would do. Again, I'm sorry that there was even any stress when you're trying to heal after you've just given birth, and that's what you're going through. And now, you have a kiddo that's about to start, preschool, a little bit kindergarten, you have a 1-year-old, like, it's a lot. So I just hope you have a lot of people in your world, in your corner, supporting you, and I hope this helps. And again, a therapist would be my best option if it were me.